We are here to celebrate the introduction of Manjiri's latest book. It is called Legend of the Snow Queen. So take a look at this beautiful book and give her a big round of applause. I can see a lot of children in the audience, so I'm going to tell you something very exciting, which Manjiri will of course expand on it. So children, do you all like traveling? Going to different places, Goa, Switzerland, London, Mahabaleshwar, all the places. Now just imagine when you go on a travel like that and a mystery takes place there. Don't you think that will be an interesting story? So you just don't go on a travel and enjoy and come back, but there is something happening. Those are the kind of stories that Manjiri writes, and we call that destination thriller. Right? Everybody knows what is a thriller? Thriller is an exciting story. Now you know about Agatha Christie? Do you know Manjiri Prabhu is called the Desi Agatha Christie of India? Give her a big round of applause. So just imagine if we have Agatha Christie now and you ask her to write about a travel story to Goa. She will obviously be adding some mystery to it, isn't it? Something is going to happen. So those are the kind of stories that Manjiri writes. And her destination thrillers are usually set internationally in Europe. Why she doesn't set her stories in India? Probably that is a question that we will ask her later.
Ask me.
Ask me, she's saying.
Ask me.
Okay. Those of you who've read her books, Destination Thrillers, they know about it. But those who haven't, just a little bit of introduction. There is a main character called Ray Parker. Ray Parker wears a Ganesha around his neck,
Yes.
a 5-metal Ganesha. His sister has passed away, and because of that he wants to eradicate crime from the world. He's extremely close to his mother, and he's not been in love.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Is that going to change here?
Yes.
So let's start with Ray Parker's love life.
Oh my God. Yeah, thank you so much, Kulpreet. That was a very lovely introduction, and welcome everyone. So nice to see all these kids. Which standard are you from? Okay, 9th and 10th. Have you read
Big.
mystery? Yeah, that's good. And have you read mystery books? Okay, good. That's great. So you should read mine. Let me just plug myself in first. So Ray Parker. Okay. Now Ray Parker is a very intriguing character for me. When I created him, I could see how he was going to look. He has a ponytail. He wears silver rimmed glasses. He's a very serious kind of a person, but very witty. So you will see that he always has these witty exchanges with all the protagonists. And he's got an impressive personality. So most girls fall in love with him, but Ray still has to meet his great love, which hopefully will change in this book.
Yes.
Yes. So that's it. I mean, something's going to happen, but I can't reveal. You have to read the book.
Absolutely. When I said that it is actually travel plus mystery, that makes it so much more intriguing.
Yeah.
And there's a fair bit of original history that is part of Manjiri Prabhu's books. When we talk about this particular book, so there was, if you've heard, there was someone known as Ludwig. I hope I pronounced that right.
It's King
Ludwig.
King Ludwig.
King Ludwig II,
Yeah.
who's also called as Mad
The
Ludwig.
Mad.
He was a king in Germany. And he was very close to his sister, who was from Austria, called Sissi, otherwise Queen Elizabeth.
Empress of Austria.
Of Austria, sorry.
Yeah.
What country did I say? I said Austria.
No, you said queen of, what did I say?
Okay.
Germany.
All right.
So she was born in Germany, but she's the Empress of Austria.
Yeah, so this is a factual thing, and it starts with a nice little illustration about the place, and then the story begins. So I want to ask you this: how much of this is introduction is fine. These are the real characters in the history, and that is why the story becomes so interesting. But after that, at what point do you make that fiction, and why is it necessary?
So basically, let me start with what is a destination thriller. You've heard of destination weddings? Obviously, what happens? A wedding takes place in a destination. If you remove the destination from the wedding, will the wedding happen? Exactly. So that's what a destination thriller is. If you remove the destination from my novel, there will be no novel. So when I start writing a destination thriller, I go to the place and I try to find out if there's something unique and historical about it. And then I take a thread from that history and I weave it into a current plot. And what was your question again?
My question was, at what point does
Yes.
this fact becomes fiction?
Right. So when I have all this history, I go there and research a lot, and I realized like there was this King Ludwig II. He was an interesting character, and he was found drowned in a lake in Germany called Lake Starnberg. He was found dead there, and then his cousin Sissy was kind of a very good friend of his. But after he died, she stopped visiting him. So I found that these characters were so interesting, and I said, I want to write a destination thriller on this place in the Bavarian mountains. So, Germany, and Christmas time, there's lots of snow there. So imagine how beautiful it will be. Have you traveled to any snowy country during winter? Have you? Anyone? Have you seen the snow? Okay, so you know that, yeah, right. So you know that in winter there's beautiful snow. In European countries, they celebrate Christmas in a big way, so it's beautifully lit, there's a Christmas tree. And I wanted to create a chilling mystery story around a warm Christmas atmosphere, but against the backdrop of cold Bavaria. And so I needed a history where an interesting plot, interesting premise, and also interesting characters who would all come together in my fiction story. And now here, this is where the merging begins. Because I have the history, obviously I can't use the Empress of Austria and King Ludwig II as characters, because then I would have Europe behind me for maligning them, or I don't know what else would happen. But I do use their backdrops in the sense their lifestyles and their personalities to merge into my characters, especially in this book, to form a different character who's connected to that character, to the historical character. So this is where the merging happens. I bring in clues from the past and I merge them in the present tense. So there's a very direct, when I draw a graph, you can see history coming in and slowly merging into fiction. You can see a track.
Yeah, you do it exceedingly well. And I must also tell all of you that I learned a few days ago that one of the books that you were writing earlier, and in the process of being a serious writer, traveling to those international locations, doing authentic research and making that as a background of your story and then adding fiction. But in doing so, I believe something you discovered in one of your books, which even the experts in their country, or at least the common people, were not knowing about it, and now they want to go and see that place. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So it started with the Trail of Four. Have you heard of Salzburg? Have you heard of
Salzburg?
Austria?
A city?
Have you heard of Austria? Okay. Have you heard of the film called The Sound of Music? Anyone? Has anyone seen it? Okay, anyway. So The Sound of Music was filmed in this palace called the Schloss Leopoldskron in Austria. And when I went there to visit, for some reason, I realized that it was amazing. That place was amazing, and I wanted to base a thriller there. And then I was invited there to base the thriller. But when you base a thriller, you need to put in clues on a trail, right? And you need to take in clues from the venue, from the destination itself. So I started researching. And then I used to go on long tours around the palace, trying to discover little clues within the palace. So much so that, and I discovered so much that even the palace people didn't know these existed. So, like for example, I discovered the letter R under a very secret staircase in the library. The secret staircase was there, but they didn't know that there were initials under the staircase. And there were owls in the ceiling, and things that they didn't know I found out, which I've used in the book. So it's a very fascinating process, because they are also discovering new things about their place through my books.
Oh, that's a very impressive achievement, and that is precisely why I'm going to ask this question, that why don't you set your destination thrillers in India, because you will make us discover things which we do not know about. And I think that will be great. In fact, one or two children, smart children, I don't know which school they are from, they can be a research partner for you to discover something new. I think that kind of a teamwork is very much possible.
Of course it's possible, but honestly, I'm calling them destination thrillers now, but I already started writing destination thrillers with my first book. It happened in Panhara, near Kolhapur. It was called Silver in the Mist. And so, but they were not called destination thrillers there. Then I wrote a book called The Cavern Site Conspiracy, which takes place in 48 hours, begins in Pune, goes all over Europe, and comes back to Pune. So Pune features very much in it. My novels, Cosmic Clues and Stellar Signs, are already destination mystery stories. They happen all in Pune with Vaishali Hotel and Agriculture College, and all that is there. So I've been writing that. I only now realize that I want to call them destination thrillers and start this whole Europe series with it. But coming back to your question of why not India now, it will happen. India will be the last book when Ray Parker comes back to India and solves the mystery. Yes, that would happen.
Superb. So before we discuss the story, I just want to know, ask you one more thing about the destination per se.
Yeah.
Destination in your story automatically also becomes a character,
Yeah.
right? How does that happen? I basically want to ask you that when you, like you've traveled to all these international locations. Recently we were watching that you were in Portugal. You are probably going to set a book there, I'm not sure.
Yes.
But when you sit down, what do? You sit down in a still room or you go around? How do you get the inspiration that what story or what characters and how you're going to write that?
Well, I have my muse to thank for it, honestly. I feel that these destination thrillers are my calling because I've been writing mystery stories all my life. And one fine day, I just had this calling from Salzburg that come and write. You won't believe this. This is the truth. It's not fiction. I feel that the spirit of the place calls out to me.
Wow,
And,
amazing.
And it definitely happens. And once I go there with a blank mind. I don't have any pressure that I have to base a story here. It is only when I go there and I walk the paths, I make some notes of course, but I just allow the whole destination to seep into me. Like the little village or whatever, historical, the palaces, I just allow it to come to me. And I know that before I leave the place, I will have the plot. So I am very confident of that, and I know it's the spirit of the place that gets the story from me.
Great. Another thing, just a minor comment that I have about destination thrillers, all the destination thrillers, including the ones that you write, other people write, they're generally about very luxurious settings, private islands and chateaus and casinos, and nobody's talking about poverty and all that. So in that sense, I think it's a proper fictional escape, something like a romance story. So have you ever thought of matching the two? Of course, now Ray Parker is going to fall in love, so it's going to become different.
Well, honestly, my books are larger than life, okay? They are international thrillers. I don't want to deal with poverty or real issues here. I want to entertain people. I want to give them something where it's like called armchair traveling. So even if you can't go to Austria, you get a good picture of Austria. And when you get a chance to go there, you know what the place is. So my whole message in this is, it's a bridging of cultures. My goal is to bring that country to you in a different way and a different light. I don't want to, disturb people and talk about the underbellies, and that's not my goal at all. It's the poverty. So I want to entertain you, and I want to make sure that you're happy when you read the book, and you're excited about a new place, and you want to go travel the world.
Excellent. I think that's a great point. Now to come to the story and just to present a kind of teaser for all of you to get motivated enough to pick up this fascinating book. They're just hot off the press, and it's available here, right?
It's available at Crossword. Do pick it up, please.
Yeah.
If you like.
And Manjiri would be very happy to sign it.
Yes.
But just to give you the beginning of the story, so there are 5 European countries representatives who have been called to a hotel in Germany, where they've been discussing certain things, and they're going to sign a document, and that document has to be signed in presence of the 5 swans, which actually go missing, and 2 swans, sorry. So tell us about the swans. What exactly is the case of missing swans?
So, like you said, 5 countries are coming together to sign a World Treaty of Peace, which is like global. In this place, which is a hotel where Sissy used to visit for 24 summers, and this treaty is in her name. The symbol of the treaty is swans. One fine morning, just before the treaty is going to be signed, the swans are stolen from there, okay? And in the place is kept a small note and a poem from Sissy, which she had written to Ludwig II. And the message said that Sissy has to walk the Sissy path again to protect the treaty and to retrieve the swans. But Sissy has been dead for more than 100 years. So how is that going to happen? And
Correct.
That's the mystery.
Correct. That's a mystery. And trust me, when you start reading the book, one of the greatest strengths of your writing, Manjiri, I must say that, and I think I saw some similarity. I've always seen some similarity between your books and how Dan Brown writes, or how Ashwin Sanghi writes. They're descriptive, all right, but it's a very visual description. How the snow is falling, how the person is going. The image will immediately form in your mind. For all the people, all the children here who 8th, 9th standard, it's not very difficult language. You'll be able to, you will be right sitting here in Pune, you will actually be in Austria and Germany, you know, just living that story. That's how beautiful that is. I think we have, before we go ahead, I think we're going to also take question answers. So I think let's do that right now, because more often than not, people don't get opportunity to ask questions. I'll encourage the younger children, if you have any questions, please do ask Manjiri madam. Or anyone who's read. Yeah, excellent. I like that. I like that spontaneity.
We need 2 mics. 1 second. We need 2 mics quickly. Quickly 2 mics. Yeah.
Okay. Before that, you know, just a comment, Manjiri. So this rivalry of Stephen, the police officer, and Ray, which is all there in the previous series, but here there is a kind of friendship that is going to happen. So I really like that. You know, people talk about character arc, but here the character arc is actually through the series. Another thing that I found fascinating is that, you know, this guy Ray Parker, he always gets visions. You know, he gets psychic visions in which he can foretell or he can see those visions, but always he's not there in those visions. But this is for the first time that he sees that the sense of danger is not just to people that he's seeing in the vision, but also to himself. Yes, please.
My question is for Miss Manjiri ma'am. How many books have you written till now, and which one is your favorite?
Well, I've written, I call them 19 works, okay, because one could be a duplication of whatever, but there are 19 books. And my favorite is always my latest one, and it's this one. This series is very close to my heart, because there's a missing heart in each one of them that connects them.
And you know what? Have you people noticed that heart which has been painted by some excellent painters?
Yeah.
And I was there with 2 other authors, and right in front of us, the heart slid and fell on the ground.
Oh God.
And I said, oh my God, this is Manjiri's plot in real life happening.
No, and the best part was when I went in the morning, I realized that the heart was missing. It was not that, it was just this little thing, and I said the heart is stolen again.
No, somebody found it's been pasted back, but it is slid down, and then someone I saw running and getting the tape. So probably the heart is going to be there, or I don't know whether it's not going to be there. But you must go and see that heart and click a picture.
So this is my favorite book right now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
All right. More questions from the younger participants and maybe future authors.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Good afternoon, ma'am. My question is to Manjiri ma'am, that what kind of research do you do, and how long do you spend researching before beginning a book?
I think, can we give her a round of applause for such an excellent question?
Wonderful
For you as well. Yeah, thank you so much.
So I go to this place. For example, if I choose Salzburg or Germany or whatever, I go there, I stay there for 2 weeks. I meet a lot of local people, because you see, this book is about foreigners. And I'm an Indian. So I'm not really a foreigner, and I don't really know how to write about them. But I make myself, how should I say, familiar with their life, and familiar with the language, familiar with the character, so that I can pick all that up and turn it into an authentic book. So the research takes a long time, about 15 to 20 days in the country, and I come back and research for 6 more months. And after that, I write the book. So research is very integral to this whole series. It should appear as if an insider in that country has written the book, and not an Indian author trying to write a European book.
I admire you for your dedication. More questions, please? Yes, many hands going up now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good afternoon,
we do have
ma'am.
time.
What motivated you to become a writer?
Well, so I became a writer at a very young age. I don't know how many of you read Enid Blyton. Have you heard of Enid Blyton? Okay, right. Oh, someone said yes. Only one male voice said yes this side. So Enid Blyton was my favorite writer, and when I read her books as a child, I knew instantly that I wanted to be a writer, because I connected so much with her writing, and I was so inspired that I wanted to create a world of fiction and my own world of characters for all the readers out there. So my inspiration is Enid Blyton, and that's how I started off writing.
Excellent. Now probably we can take questions from here also, because ma'am, someone had raised, please. Can you bring the mic here? We have 4 minutes precisely. And one thing I like about Pune International Literature Festival is everybody sticks to the time. So that's excellent.
Yeah. I have a very simple question. If I want to read the Ray Parker series, which book do I begin with?
You have to start with the Trail of 4, then go to the Voice of Runes, and then take this one. But even if you pick up any one of them, they're all independent and it's fine.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi Manjiri. My question is, you said that the place calls out to you in
Yeah.
case of destination thrillers.
Yeah.
Does it happen that when you're traveling, suddenly you think that this place could be a good setting for it? Or do you research beforehand and then visit the place to write out your book? How does it work?
So every place I visit calls out to me in that sense. Like I just find all of them so fascinating and I feel, oh, it'll be good. But this goes beyond that. When I say calling, it doesn't necessarily mean that the calling is from the city. It could be from a friend telling me, hey, you should go write a book there. So these are messages from the universe which tell me I have to go to this place, or a friend says, why don't you come to my city? There is this happening here. For example, Voice of the Runes is about Scandinavian folklore, okay, Norse mythology. And my friend Terry was staying in Sweden and she said, why don't you come and write about the runes? So I started researching and I realized it was just a perfect thing for me. So the message came, I didn't go seeking it, the message came to me that I should write about the rune stones in Lund University. So.
Great. Next question, please.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question about what inspires you or attract you to write a book on that particular topic.
I just said it's the destination. Suddenly, I feel like writing about that place. And basically, any place I visit, I can see a mystery already happening there in my head. So that's how it is. We have
Next.
last one or two questions.
Yeah, one or two questions, please. Quickly, yes.
Ma'am, my question is that how to start the book or the story so that the reader should get attracted to it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
excellent question.
very, very good question. It depends on whether you're writing a short story or a novel, okay? A novel has more scope to build up the story. A short story, you have to immediately catch the reader's attention. So you meet me outside and I will give you straight tips on how to do it.
Great, great, great. Who else?
I have a question that what made you so curious to write about destination thriller?
I love traveling. Traveling is oxygen for me. So what I do, and I also love writing. So I wondered how can I combine both these passions of mine so that I save time and I travel, and of course all the destinations just grow on me, and I've been traveling all my life, and the only thing was incorporating it into my writer's life. That's what I did actually.
Great, yes. Yes. Mic, please.
Anyone?
I can
Yeah.
see 7-8 hands up.
Just quickly pass the mic on.
Yeah.
Why did you choose destination thrillers over setting means why did you choose destination thrillers rather than setting them in only a particular area?
Particular areas, that's India, do you mean?
No, means only a particular city or something.
So the destination is a particular city itself. This happens in Lake Starnberg, which is Feldafing city, and the Voice of Runes happens in Lund University, which is also again a small town there. So it always has to be one city in that country. Yes.
Okay, next one.
If your story characters comes in a real life, means a fiction story becomes in fact file, how do you feel that your characters you created are in real?
Excellent question. If Ray Parker walks from there and say, Manjiri, how can you make me fall in love through this book?
You see, I'm already in love with Ray Parker. So if Ray Parker comes here, I'll just hold his hand and walk out of this room. Literally, I love Ray Parker so much. I created him and I'm fascinated at how I created this most ideal man in the world. Do they even exist? So that's how they don't exist, which is why I created a Ray Parker. And if he walks in right now, I'll say, come, let's go away from here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Excellent one.
I think that.
I think, thank you very much, children. I'm really very happy both of us are for you to ask so many questions, and also I can see your expressions. You're so interested. I'm sure you're going to read this book and other books as well. I think we need to fold up because 2:20 we need to start that. So thank you very much for this conversation, and all the very best to you for this destination thrillers. And we're waiting for Portugal and then India.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.